Alright, we got a Hoshizaki reach-in that they say has temping problems pretty consistently. So they just don't trust it and don't use it. I'm actually going to use, I took the shelf out, I'm going to put it back in. Because I'm going to use this as my temperature clamp. Right, good enough for me at the moment. My little hanger, my little hanging one's being weird and I don't trust it. But often you put them in these boxes, you lose connection because this is like a walk-in. So, all right, so we're gonna let this drop down to temp. It's our 290 unit, and everything mechanically tells me it's running like a champ. We've got a hot discharge line. We've got a cold suction line coming back, and the temperature inside is dropping quick. So it's got this intelligent temperature controller. So it may have a temperature probe problem, which is why I want an accurate T1, so we can know when and if this box satisfies. There's a lot going on. So this is the only thing we're looking at. None of this is real. The only thing that's real is this temperature probe that's in there hanging, and it's playing catch up. So I don't know what temperature it really is inside yet, but we've satisfied and shut down. He said the problem is this unit always was hanging out right at the north end of OK. It was always 41, 42, 44. So I wondered if it was running away and the thermostat just runs all the time, but no, because we're already satisfied. So the question is, what are we satisfied at? Where's this going to settle out? If this is going to satisfy and we're at a 44-degree box, I'm going to let it run a few cycles. We're going to pull the inside down and take a look at the temperature probes. May just have a temperature probe that's a little out of whack, and so she shut down early. So again, this is the only number we care about. My inside temperature is 37.2. I'm not running and I'm satisfied. I put the amp clamp on it just so I don't have to keep looking at the fan. I can see that to see when it kicks up. And I just want to see at what temperature. I really wanted to leave it closed, but I can tell you we pulled down to 37 and that's it. And now we're rising again. So I'm going to give it a little bit of hot air. Give it a little bit of hot air. Oops. Now again, this is air temperature, and that temperature probe is going to run on coil temperature, no doubt, because it's a cooler. There's not going to be a defrost. Although, I haven't really looked at it. This may have a freaking defrost built in. Let's look together here. No, it's just dropping out. So, let's have this discussion real quick. So we're 39.7 and we're still off. Let's assume, because this runs an air defrost, that controller was set to cut out. That controller definitely should be temping coil temperature, not air temperature. So let's say it cut out at 26 degrees and it's supposed to cut back in at 40, right? I'm just making numbers up, but that could be. So, when the coil was 26 degrees, my unit shut down. But my box was still only 40 or so, but it kept dropping. My box dropped all the way down to 36 or 35 something, then it started climbing back up again. The moment we started climbing, and your doors have been closed, then you know your coil temperature and your box temperature are the same. Because when our coil was 26, this headed towards 26 and 26 headed towards this until they equalized, and now they're just climbing. So the box is 40, the coil is 40. I'm going to give it a little bit of grace, but I need this unit kicking back on before the box is 40. When the box is 38 or 39, I need the unit kicking on and bringing the coil back down so we can keep the product below 40. Because you're not going to keep your product below 40 if you're going to have your coil run to 41 degrees before it cuts back in. So we're contemplating just putting an ink bird in there. Haha! Because I can mount it back here. I've got all my wires already. I can run one temperature probe into the evaporator. We can use our wiring schematic here to make sure we pull it right. I don't need to wait and see anymore. We're at 41. Our unit's not running. We got to make a change. I'm going to drop this inside evaporator, take a look, verify both the fans are running. It sounds like they are. Look at where the probe is, but we have to have the inside drop down to get our probe in anyway. So, saying I've seen enough, but look, 42, not running. Stop wiring schematic for a minute. It took me a second. It's oriented this way. You'll see there are 3 wires in the terminal and then a blue wire. So this is upside down, but either way, 1, 2, 3, space 5. So 5 runs to our evaporator fans. Okay, so blue is our evaporator fans. 2 and 3 are your lines and neutrals in. So your black and white is your power in, and then your brown is what runs through a high pressure control and then fires up the cooling circuit. So easy peasy. And then this is temperature controller, temperature probe, which are becoming irrelevant. Alright, so both of our fans are running. Let's go grab the temperature controller. I'm going to go from memory on this. I think you want to go to 5 first. No, hang on. Because America. Hey, now we're in Fahrenheit. Okay. Alright, so then I don't speak Celsius. Alright, so set 0.1 temperature. We're shooting for 26. Again, we may have to adjust this. I'm buried in the coil, right? So we ran the cable up, and then I use an awl to spread straight down into the coil, feed my wire in, pinch it shut. So I have a coil temperature probe, which is super important because we're going to need this to air defrost. 26 degrees. Boom. Okay. Now we're going to go to F2, which is our differential. So 26 and 10 is 36. So if I go to 11, then we should go to 37 and we should kick back in. F3 is a fan delay or a compressor delay. We don't want that. 4 is an offset. 5 is English or whatever. And I don't remember what 6 is. But I pressed the button. She fired up. So she's dropping, right? I've got this zip tied in, I've got wire management done. They don't need to reference this. They don't need to control this. That's it. I don't want them looking at it because they're going to go, oh no, why is it frozen? It's not frozen, the coil's frozen. So we're going to let this run for a while. I just put this back in, so we're going to have to let this catch up. But we're going to see when that's 26 and the box cycles back to 37, back and forth a few times, where does it live? We may have to tweak it, but I've generally found that's the formula. 26 and 12 keeps you between 33 and 38. I know I've only got it at 11 because I want it to run cold to prove a point. Because they were having issues where it just wouldn't temp and they couldn't figure it out and they just left it alone. But 100% temperature controller. Now, it took a full hour of diagnosing and watching it run before we could get that, because we had to establish what temperature would it cut back in, and we had to do that naturally because I didn't want to just flood the cabinet with hot air since we're doing coil temp. So it took a little time, but she's going to be back up and running. Here's the way it goes. She just pulled down to 26 and satisfied, right? My box temperature is 43. So now we're going to ping between 43 and 26, and they're going to meet in the middle, and then that's going to start up again when we hit 37. Here's a pretty good representation. We've done a full cycle, right, and now we're waiting for it to kick in again. Our box is 39. We're almost 37. So when that gets to be 37, it's going to pull down again, and then we're going to live our life in a happy place. We're always maintaining sub 37 degrees without freezing the coil. And here we go. And she starts her journey back down. 26. Beautiful. I really want to see at the end of this cycle, when it hits 26 and shut down, what does that put our box temp at? And that's where it should put it at about 37. We live between 33 and 37. All right, so we've got it closed back up. And she's about to cycle off again. And the box is holding 37 and a half. All right, heading back down. She's about to tap out at 26. I know it's a lot of redundancy, but we have to watch and make sure this is dialed in correctly. All right, so it was missing a couple shelf clips. We put a couple shelf clips in for them. She is beautiful and holding 33 to 37, baby. Wrap it up.